Well, everyone, let me break you down to a little story time, okay? So the other day when I was, looking through the phones that I have, I randomly picked up my iPhone 5 and I was like, man, I had not messed with this since I got an iOS update on this last year, which was super insane. And so I charged it up, I messed with it, and I can tell you guys this honestly. I thought my iPhone 5S was like the last smooth iPhone that I messed with. I even tweeted it out. But the iPhone 5 still is surprising me every time I pick it up, and I always forget about it. But the iPhone 5, I'm going to tell you this, is surprisingly great in 2020, and I think that's probably how I'm going to title this video. Now, first things first, okay, I have to start off with the build quality. This thing, I could probably pick one of these things up for probably like $20 or $15 if I really wanted to, even though I own like 3 of them. And when you pick this thing up, it really screams to you quality. Even now, like, it's so crazy. The flat sides, which went away for a while, but then have gone back in Apple's lineup, still hold up, still feel extremely good and feel extremely crisp when you're feeling them in the hand. And mind you, this thing came out in 2012. That was so long ago. And to keep you in check, that was, I think, when the Galaxy S4 came out, which, wasn't the best feeling thing in the hands. It was pretty cheap feeling, even though it had that AMOLED display. It didn't really feel too good in the hands, especially now. Whenever I use my Galaxy S4, it definitely shows its age. Whereas on my iPhone 5, I don't necessarily get that feeling, which is extremely cool. You feel this phone, and if I had my eyes closed and I was just kind of feeling a bunch of phones, the iPhone 5, I would honestly be able to tell that it was the iPhone 5, but I would still be shocked as to how premium this thing feels. Now, another really cool thing about this in terms of the build quality is on the back, you have that stainless steel design, whatever it is, aluminum, and then you have that glass on the top and the glass on the bottom, which is extremely cool. Now, it probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but it still feels really cool. And there's not a lot of phones that came out at that time or even still come out that kind of have this hybrid design of glass on the back and aluminum on the back. Obviously, the iPhone 5S included and the iPhone SE, but that's still a really cool thing. So the design and the body are one of those things that have 100% held up. And as soon as I picked this bad boy up, I was like, wow. And you can even say the same thing about the iPhone 4, but the iPhone 5, the really surprising thing about it was as soon as I booted it up, okay, now with my previous iPhones, the 4, even the 4S, every time I picked those phones up, bro, I could tell those were old phones as soon as you booted into iOS 7 or iOS 9 and one of those things. It's such a choppy experience, it's such a glitchy experience, and it's expected on an older phone, so I can't really hold it against it, you know what I mean? Like, it's expected to be like that. But the iPhone 5, I was semi kind of expecting it to be like that too, even though I've used it before, I knew kind of what I was like getting into. But the smoothness from this device is insane. Now, it's not iPhone 11 smooth, it's not iPhone 7 smooth either, but it's still much smoother than I thought. And the screen really isn't even that bad either, even though it's a 4-inch panel. It's a Retina panel and it's an IPS panel, and that kind of gives the illusion that, this thing is a much newer device than it really is. But when I was scrolling through things, when I was loading up apps, it's such a smooth experience still when you consider that this phone came out almost 8 years ago, which is insane. There are probably people who are watching this that have kids that are younger than this phone, which is insane. Now, scrolling through things, tapping on the App Store, whatever, that was really surprising in and of itself. It was very smooth. Obviously, it's not that smooth, but it's very smooth for the time this phone was released. But the other thing that really threw me off was the camera on the back. So I was filming a lot of this outdoors, and I was really surprised about the camera that this thing still had equipped in it. And honestly, there's not a lot of phones out there, that back in 2012 that would really throw me off. I think the Galaxy Note 3 that came out around this time had a really decent camera setup, but man, the iPhone 5 still has a really decent camera on the back. And the really cool thing is that if you are jailbroken, which I had to throw this in there are a bunch of jailbroken tweaks that take advantage of that camera and can really take it up to the next level. But even if you keep it stock, the camera actually was much better than I thought, which is really cool. Now, those 3 things in and of itself are probably the most important things I wanted to hit on and why this phone was really, really surprising to me. But the other thing I want to hit on is probably the price tag and the repairability, and I'll just slightly hit on this towards the end. So the price tag, like I stated, you can probably find one of these for less than $30, which is expected. But another crazy thing is that the repairability of this phone is extremely cheap. You don't have to spend $50 to get the screen replaced on this thing. You can probably pick up the screen online for less than like $7, probably even less than $15 for the full LCD and everything. You can easily replace the screen on this phone so easy, which I'm so happy to say and I'm so happy about. Nowadays, it's kind of, not even does it cost an arm and leg to repair it, but also takes a lot of time to repair these things. It doesn't necessarily take that much time. So if the camera's broken, if you need a bigger battery, whatever, you can easily replace it, which is extremely cool. So for sure, at the end of the day, the iPhone 5, if you still own it, I want you to pick it up, and I want you to hug that phone, okay? I want you to hug it until it turns off or powers down. I think the iPhone 5 still has a lot of value, even though I probably would not recommend anybody to use it. I think kind of as a side phone, I think it's really cool to kind of look at and see, this came out in 2012 and it still feels like this. It still gives you that same type of nostalgia. And I wonder if we're going to be saying the same things for the iPhone 10 in a couple years. Maybe, maybe not, but that really pretty much covers it up. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that means so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count. So it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, all those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys would check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.